Welcome to weekly Forex forecast from Forex Trading Wizard Academy. This is Forex Wizard, a trading coach. I'll be doing a complete multi-time frame analysis of all the hottest currency pairs, cryptocurrencies and indices that you'll be looking to trade next week. The list is not longer, but still I have put a timestamp in the description area. But I suggest you to watch all of them. As you have seen in our previous weekly Forex forecast, most of the pairs did exactly according to the analysis. Now this week is NFP week. As you know that NFP is the big event in trading. So with the NFP, we should find significant trading opportunity in the market. So in this NFP week, I'm going to do a complete multi-time frame analysis from A to Z, all the pairs that you can see on the list. Now before I begin this weekly Forex forecast, make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. So with that being said, let's begin this week's weekly Forex forecast. Okay, traders, so let's begin first of all with DXY, as DXY will give us clear direction of most of the USD pairs including gold. Now begin with first of all monthly chart to see overall direction in the market, as monthly, weekly, higher time frame will give you a clear direction, removing all the noise from the lower time frame. So if you look at the monthly chart on DXY, we can see that from the monthly perspective, this is the monthly impulse here on DXY, followed by a pullback to the upside. Now with that pullback, what we can expect on DXY for the price to bounce back up again, as after back-to-back 2 monthly bullish move, the market has closed with a middleman here, which what I think that after testing the lower part of this monthly candle, we can expect for the price to go ahead and to create a new higher high. Now this is the monthly support level on DXY, and expecting for the price to retest and then to bounce back up. Now looking at the weekly chart, we can see that from the weekly there was a red bearish candle, followed by this week has formed a narrow doji as expected. What I think that in the upcoming week, we could see that initial drop as soon as we could see the break of this weekly doji, as there is already a long wick candle here, and in between this weekly support, we can expect a rejection to the upside on DXY. Now if we look at the daily chart, we can see that from the daily perspective, last day of trading week, a long bearish engulfer. Now with that bearish engulfer, we could see further downside on DXY, and I think that we might see a break of this low, as this is the support level that we are expecting for the price to retest and then to bounce back to the upside to create a new higher high. So if we look at the intraday time frame, from the 4-hour, we can see that DXY currently moving in a bullish channel, and we could see that the price is coming down to retest this support of this channel, and we can expect DXY to move along this direction for long-term perspective, and I think that DXY might remain in this channel for a bit more extended period of time. So we can expect with the market open DXY to drop down to break the low and then to go back up to the resistance level. So this could be the wave this week on DXY, with the drop and then to bounce back to the upside to create a new higher high. So based on that wave on DXY, now we'll be looking at first of all USD pair to see how the market might be doing, as we are expecting initial weakness on DXY and then strengthening. If we look at the monthly chart on AUD/USD, we can see almost the same mirror here, as this is the monthly close on AUD/USD, closed as a red middleman, expecting for the price to reject from this level to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the weekly chart on AUD/USD, we can see that from the weekly perspective, there is a huge drop from the weekly, followed by back-to-back 3 weeks of pullback, and we can expect for the price to drop down here to create a new lower low. Last day of trading week, we saw a candle that has a healthy body with a long wick at the bottom. Expecting this week for the price to go up for initial pullback and then to come down to fill that long wick at the bottom. Now if we look at the daily chart on a EURUSD, we can see that from the daily time frame there is a drop here, pullback, another big drop, and we can see last day of trading week there is a deeper pullback, expecting EURUSD to go ahead and grab the liquidity and then to bounce back down in that direction. So this is where we will be waiting for EURUSD for the price to go ahead, retest, and then to drop down to create a new lower low. This is where I will be waiting for EURUSD to grab liquidity from the resistance for this potential bearish move to the downside with a high probability trade setup. Let's look at euro dollar. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity currently we have on euro dollar. Starting with the monthly chart to see overall picture in the market on euro dollar, we can see that from the monthly perspective, there is a monthly bearish candle followed by previous months. Euro dollar has formed a long wick doji. Now with the doji formation, what we can expect on euro dollar for the price to go ahead and retest at least the 50% of the monthly candles. With that being said, we will be waiting initially for euro dollar to go ahead and retest before dropping down. Now if you look at the weekly chart, we can see that from the weekly, after this strong bullish candle followed by a doji on the weekly, now this week we can expect euro dollar to go ahead and retest this high of this weekly doji. We'll be waiting for the price to retest and then to reject from this level. Now if we look at the daily chart on euro dollar, we can see that from the daily time frame there is a daily impulse here, followed by we can see that there is a strong liquidity grab from this resistance level as the price has formed this liquidity zone. What I think that now with this bullish candle, the price might try to break this high as the price moves from liquidity to liquidity. We'll be waiting for euro dollar to go ahead and grab the liquidity and then to drop down to this support level. Now if we look at the intraday time frame on euro dollar, we can see that from the local time frame, euro dollar currently showing significant trading opportunity. What I think that the price might try to break this high, and as this level, as the market is gathering liquidity and forming series of lower high, we will be waiting for the price to go ahead and retest this level. As soon as we see that euro dollar has grabbed the liquidity, has given a suitable entry, we will be looking for entry opportunity to the downside with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at the dollar CAD. Let's see what kind of opportunity currently we have. Now looking at the monthly chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the monthly perspective there is a monthly strong bearish move, followed by we can see that there is an pullback to the upside on dollar CAD. Now with that pullback, what we can expect now, slowly the price to come down for a deeper move before bouncing up again to feel that monthly resistance or this imbalance in that zone. If we look at the weekly chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the weekly it is a bit strongly bullish. Now we can see that with this impulse followed by a correction, and we can see another impulse to the upside on dollar CAD. Now what we see that there is a gap opening, there is a liquidity gap here, and also there is a gap opening here on dollar CAD. Now what we can see that on dollar CAD, with that gap opening, there is a strong bullish candle followed by long wick at the top on dollar CAD. We will be waiting for a deeper pullback and then to bounce back to the upside to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the daily chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the daily time frame there is a very strong bullish impulse here. What we can see that on dollar CAD, this is the support level, and with that support the price whenever coming down here, bouncing back to the upside to create a new higher high. What we can expect on dollar CAD, for the price to come down for a deeper pullback and then to bounce back up to create a new higher high. Now looking at the intraday time frame, we can see that there is an impulse here followed by a consolidation pattern here. The price has grabbed liquidity from here multiple times, and as we can see that whenever the price is coming down to the support level forming long wick candle, we will be waiting for dollar CAD to drop down again for deeper pullback, and below this level we will be looking for potential price action confirmation. What I think the dollar CAD, if break this low, we could see that potential entry opportunity, as it is a long-term bullish market. Any breakdown will give us further opportunity to enter to the upside, as NFP coming with dollar and CAD news coming up. We could see that this instrument is getting extremely volatile. Now let's look at gold, and then we'll be looking at GBPUSD as well. So looking at gold to see how the market is doing. Now as you can see, past week gold was extremely volatile and it was trending very aggressively. We had quite a few trades on gold. Let's see this week what kind of opportunity we have. Looking at the monthly chart on gold, we can see that from the monthly perspective there is a monthly strong impulse followed by a correction here on the monthly on gold, and previous months has formed a long wick doji, which is in fact a very strong bullish price action on gold. Now what we can see that in that bullish market, we'll be waiting for the price to come down for a pullback. As you can see, after this red candle the market has dropped down, but the sellers couldn't create any new lower low. Instead has formed a bullish doji, which we could see eventually going back up to create a new higher high. So with that being said, this is the monthly price action. We might see deeper pullback before bouncing back to the upside. Now let's look at the weekly chart on gold. We can see that from the weekly there is a huge long wick candle, followed by past week we have seen a bullish engulfer. Now as expected, this week we can see that gold has had a huge rejection with a very strong momentum, which is signaling potential strong bullish move on gold. And I think that we might see again an all-time high possible on gold as the market started to bounce to the upside from this long-term bull flag. Now we saw that from the weekly it was in a bull flag, and from that bull flag gold has managed to bounce to the upside. Now if we look at the daily chart to see how the price is evolving, we can see a bit more clearer picture on gold. We see that there is an inverted head and shoulder in that area. Now with that inverted head and shoulder, the market has got a huge bounce to the upside, and with that bounce we will be waiting for the price. This is the last day of trading week. Now as you can see, huge bullish momentum. We will be waiting for the price to come down for a deeper pullback before we see another bounce to the upside. Now looking at the intraday time frame, we saw that there was a huge liquidity candle, and if you look at the past, we can see that there was a multiple liquidity grab signaling a long-term change of a trend to the upside. So you could see that gold after a pullback, further opportunity for going long. As we trade gold on the lower time frame, I will be waiting for the price to drop down. As you can see, this is the 15-minute price action, huge bullish momentum followed by a narrower pullback. We will be waiting for gold to come back down to this liquidity zone. We could see that if you look at the 1 hour chart, we can see this zone is where, as it is a very strong momentum to the upside, any pullback along this zone at least 38.2% Fibonacci level, which is also below this level. We will be waiting for a retest of this Fibonacci, and then we will be looking to go long with a high probability trade setup with our members. What I think that this week the price might retest this resistance level, and then we can expect for the price to drop down to fill that long wick at the bottom. Now if we look at the daily chart on GBPUSD, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is the daily impulse followed by a correction. Last day of trading week has formed a bullish candle. We will be waiting for the price to go ahead and retest and then to drop down again to fill that zone, as we are expecting GBPUSD to respect this level and then to retest this support level. Now if we look at the intraday time frame, we can see that on GBPUSD, we can see for the price already gathering liquidity from the top. There is a long wick candle, had a huge drop, and in that zone the price has formed a series of lower high. The market has managed to drop, and what we see that the price currently is moving in this channel. And as soon as we see the GBPUSD has gone up, what I think we might see a retest of this resistance, and from this zone we can expect for the price to drop down to this support level. As soon as we see any suitable entry on GBPUSD, we look for going short with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at dollar yen to see what kind of trading opportunity currently we have. Looking at the monthly chart on dollar yen, we can see that from the monthly, dollar yen is a long-term bullish market. Now the price with the monthly open, we have seen initial bounce, tested the monthly upper wick of this previous monthly candle. Now the price is coming down to this monthly support level. Now with that monthly support, what we can expect on dollar yen for the price to come down, to retest and then to bounce back to the upside to create again another higher high, or to retest this monthly high again. Now if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that from the weekly there is a long wick candle here from the weekly perspective on dollar yen, and with that long wick candle we can expect for the price initially to come down to fill that and then to bounce back to the upside to create a new higher high. Now looking at the daily chart on dollar yen, we can see that as expected with this rejection from this level, as yen news coming next week, we could see that the price will try to fill that long wick at the top on the daily. Now before filling that long wick, what I think that the price might try to even retest this daily support and then bouncing back to the upside to fill that long wick. Now if we look at the intraday time frame on dollar yen, we can see that there is a long bearish engulfer with a very strong liquidity grab on dollar yen and followed by a doji. We will be waiting for the price to drop down again to this support level to grab the liquidity in the doji. Once we see that dollar yen has grabbed the liquidity, we will be looking for going long on dollar yen with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at WTI. Let's see what kind of opportunity we have. Now looking at the monthly chart on WTI, now as you can see in the past, in our previous weekly forex forecast, as expected, WTI has bounced back from this monthly support level. Currently the price is forming another bullish candle. Now already in the first 1 or 2 days, WTI has bounced back to the upside, and with that bounce, currently the price above this monthly support level. What I think that this week we might see again a retest of this monthly support, and then we can expect for the price to bounce to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the weekly chart on WTI, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly bullish impulse followed by narrow correction, and we see past week it formed another bullish engulfer. Now this bullish engulfer has crossed this red candle's low and also crossed the high, closed as a very long bullish engulfer, which is a sign that WTI might keep pushing high to this resistance level. Now if we look at the daily chart, we can see that from the daily perspective, WTI also has formed a very strong bullish market structure. As expected from the support level, we saw a bounce, narrow correction. It is in another impulsive phase on WTI. We'll be waiting for the price to come down and then to bounce back to the upside to create a new higher high. Now this is the, you can see this is a very strong bullish engulfer on WTI. Now this is a narrow doji here with red and green dojis together. The price has formed this very strong liquidity candle. As a result, you saw that there is an immediate rejection to the upside. This is the middleman, which is a very powerful price action for this breakout, and we'll be waiting the new trading week for the price to retest this support level. And I think the WTI might remain strongly bullish in the upcoming week as well. As soon as we see that it dropped back down to this support level, we will be looking for going long on WTI with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at the Nasdaq. Let's see what kind of price action Nasdaq we can see on the monthly. We can see that this is a very sharply bullish market. The price after this gap opening with the monthly open, we saw there is a bounce. We'll be waiting for the price to retest this support level on Nasdaq, and then we'll look for going long. Now if we look at the weekly chart on Nasdaq, we can see that from the weekly perspective, this is the weekly liquidity grab with a very strong bounce to the upside on this Nasdaq. And as you can see, the price from the weekly form a very strong bullish engulfer with a liquidity grab on both sides. And as this week the market has made a very strong bullish impulse, we'll be waiting for the price to come down to retest and then to give us another impulsive move to the upside. Now looking at the daily chart on Nasdaq, we can see that there is a daily bullish engulfer. The price has crossed this low, crossed the high, closed above with a very strong impulse. We'll be waiting for Nasdaq for the price to create a new higher high. So this is the resistance here, and also resistance here. I will be waiting for a retest as a support and then to give us potential entry opportunity on Nasdaq. Now as soon as we see that the price has given us suitable entry on Nasdaq, we will be looking for going long with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at US30. Let's see what kind of opportunity currently we have. Now looking at the monthly chart on US30, we can see that from the monthly perspective, this is the monthly impulse followed by, if you closely look at, we can see that the price is still maintaining a strong bullish market structure. As this is the monthly opening on US30, initially the price has tested this monthly long week, and what I think that now the price might try to retest this monthly support before bouncing back again. Now if we look at the weekly chart on US30, we can see that weekly perspective, after this bullish engulfer, the price has formed a long week candle on the weekly. We'll be waiting for the price to come down for a retest, and then we can expect it to go and to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the daily chart on US30, we can see that from the daily time frame, this is the daily impulse followed by a correction, and we can expect for the price to create a new higher high on the daily perspective. Now this is the daily impulse followed by a daily middleman. We will be waiting for the price to come down to retest and then to bounce back up to create a new higher high. Now looking at the lower time frame, we can see that for the price, this is the bullish channel. As you can see for US30, I will be waiting for the price to come down to retest the lower part of this zone where there is a high liquidity. So as soon as we see that US30 has given us suitable entry along this zone, we will be looking for going long with a high probability trade setup. I believe that guys and girls, you enjoyed this weekly Forex forecast. These are the instruments that you will be looking to trade. In addition, any instrument giving a suitable entry also you will be looking to trade throughout the week. Now, before I leave this weekly Forex forecast, guys and girls, if you enjoyed this, make sure that you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet, where you can learn our strategies and also you can trade with us in Forex Trading Wizard Academy. Thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next analysis.